Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're taking a look at Lucky Duck's newest big hit, Mutants the card game.
Coming to Kickstarter.
So Lucky Duck's thing is they want to take people, if you're addicted to your phone, you play a lot of phone games, well, we're going to take that and we're going to translate it to the tabletop. Just like Jetpack Joyride, Fruit Ninja, Vikings Gone Wild, Zombie Tsunami, others probably. So this is based off Mutants Genetic Gladiators. Now, I actually haven't downloaded this game because I did download Jetpack Joyride and Fruit Ninja, and now I've been playing those way too much. My poops take so much longer than they're supposed to, so I'm worried that what if I get addicted to this one too? Like, I could lose my job that I don't have. You know, it's like priorities, guys.
So I also have not played the app version of this, but playing this, maybe one day I'll try out the app just to see the comparison. But this game right here that you're looking at, Mutants the card game, is a asymmetrical deck building King of the Hill style game where we're all gonna be building decks, but we don't buy from the same pool. Everybody has a different pool. You can build your own pool. That's one of the options. Or you just have these preset different pools like the Breed to Beatdown or the Vicious Cycle. There's a couple different ones that come in it, and there might be more with stretch goals. But basically you have 3 different cards you can buy, and you're going to put them into play. They're going to either move you up or down on this track right here, which is kind of like King of the Hill. Like whoever is the strongest mutant at the end of the round will get points based on the round, and whoever's in second gets points as well. So it's different than other deck builders. You're not going strictly for victory points per round. You're going also trying to be the strongest in that round or the most prestigious.
The other thing that makes it different is buying cards. Typically in most deck builders, the 2 currencies is purchasing and combat, and some of them have a combined resource, some of them have additional resource that you can use for other things. This one doesn't have any of that. To buy a card, you're not actually buying it, you're breeding it. And so you discard, every card that you can purchase has 2 icons in the top left corner that tells you what gene pool you have to splice together to get that mutant. So you discard 2 cards, and amongst those 2 cards, those 2 genes have to be present, and then you can play that card from your personal lineup. The other option is discarding 1 card and putting it into your incubator, and then you're guaranteed to have that in your opening hand the next round. But that definitely sets it apart from other deck builders. You're just trying to get, I want the most attack and the most purchasing, and balance those 2 to get the best cards that have victory points on them.
I almost feel like calling it a deck builder, it's not wrong, but it's not the right way to initially put that image in your brain. You know what I mean? It's like to call it I'm glad they call it Mutants the card game. It's a card game. It's where we're breeding cards and we're trying to fight for this King of the Hills type thing. And then when someone sits down to play it, they're like, "Oh, this is kind of like a deck builder." And you're like, "Yeah, that's right. It's kind of like a deck builder." But if I were to tell you, "Oh, this is a deck building game," you're gonna immediately think
Vikings
there's a
Gone Wild is their deck builder. That's definitely deck building.
Yeah, there's cards in the middle that you can buy and you purchase them with the purchase and but this is a little bit different.
The other thing is, we're talking about getting victory points on the cards. Most deck builders, having possession of that card gives you those victory points. In this game, the only time you can score victory points is if you freeze them, which is basically how you cull cards from your deck. And so there's different actions you can do, or every time you shuffle your discard pile, you're going to put it into the freeze zone. And then at the end of the game, any card in your freeze zone has victory points that you can score.
It's almost like Frozone. It's kind of like in Tyrants of the Underdark, where you promote cards to get, the better the card is, the more points it will be if you promote it. But in that, even if you don't promote it, they're still worth some points. And here, that's not the case. You have to freeze it to get the points from the cards.
That's also not the only way to get points. The big way you're getting points is from this track. And like Aaron was saying, it's King of the Hill. It's whoever's dominating the other players by being ahead of it. And then there's also ways you could do it where, if you are in the top place and then you get to go up, it's not like, oh, we're already as high as you can be. You can't go any higher. You actually get to bump everybody else down, which can be really nasty. Especially if you're playing in a 4-player game, you can be in the top place, and it gets back to your round, and you're way down here in the red zone.
So just about every card in this box that you get has a ability that will trigger when you play the card, and an ability that triggers when it is discarded. And you actually have this unique kind of track here where you have one active mutant that when you play him there, if it has that play ability, you'll get something for playing it there. But if there's already somebody in the active slot, you have to slide them either left or right, and you kind of can basically hold off on when you want to trigger the exit ability of that card. So there's a lot of like chaining together. You're like, okay, I'm going to play this card who gives me +2 on that track. And when I do that, I'm actually shifting this over, and this guy comes out, and now I get, for him leaving, I'm getting another +2. So I just went up 4 on that track in one turn. There's a lot of that. But in a lot of other deck builders, I've noticed you attack each other. This game, there is attacking, but it's very uniquely done. Like, you don't just like, oh, I'm going to attack that. The cards will say, when this is taken out of play, you're going to knock out a card that's in that same slot. So you kind of have to maneuver your cards to get them in a certain... If you notice that somebody has a card you want to knock out in their left slot, you need to put your warrior over in a left slot so that you can knock out their left slot.
You said left, and then you gestured right like this?
No, it's camera left.
And that's relevant because and not only do the cards have like when you play them and when they leave play abilities, but some cards also have like constant abilities. Like, while this card is in play, you can play a card and immediately discard it from play to get both abilities at the same time. Or you can use the ability from any card. There's all kinds of different things and ones they can add. So you're going to strategically say, okay, Aaron has this powerful card in that slot, so I want to make sure that this card ends up here so that when it's discarded, that's the card that I attack.
Exactly. As long as they don't get a defensive card in play to like block you from attacking that, which is, those are very useful cards, which Tom found out as we tried to attack him. He's like, nope, I defend it with this card. One of the greatest things about this game is how quick your turns are. Like, on your turn, you just activate your left mutant, move them left or right, and then either deploy a mutant, breed a mutant, or incubate a mutant. So it's like the downtime is very like noticeably light as well. Like, you're just like, okay, I'm gonna take my turn, it's quick. You're gonna take your turn, it's quick, back to me. Like, so this game can play kind of quickly once you know the cards.
And it's not even like, I don't think there's not much that you would do on your turn that's going to change what I do on my turn all that much. So I could even be thinking about my turn while I'm watching you guys go, okay, so he didn't do the one thing that he could maybe do. Okay, so cool, that means I'm going to drop this and do this.
As long as nobody attacks you, nobody's really affected.
That's the only thing that you really need to be worried that much about.
It's also really interesting because we each have our unique lineup. There is like zero hate drafting in this game. Like, there is no, I'm going to buy this card so that you can't have it. These are my cards. It's part of how you can build your own decks that you're breeding out of. So you can say, this is exactly how I want to play. And as long as I can have the gene pool to do it, I'm guaranteed to get these cards, and he can't have them.
Another interesting choice they went with is just having the 3 piles instead of like one pile, and you have 3 available to you. Like, having these 3 piles, you could just like breed this guy, and then when it flips over, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna breed that guy under there, and then just kind of get rid of that entire pile, and now you have to do one of these other 2 piles. Like,
you
only
have 2 options now.
Yeah, eventually you're going to have to breed those if you want to get through all of your cards. If the game goes on, if you're breeding quick enough and getting through those cards quick enough.
Also, the fact that you each have a hand of 6 cards, and there is no like play one, draw one like a lot of games. It's like I take one action that could be 1 card or 2 card or how many cards the action calls for, and then it goes around and I take more, and we go, and if I run out of cards and they still have cards, I just pass and they get to keep playing. So if they are really reserved with their cards, they're only playing like cards for actions where I'm just like breed, they're going to have a lot more actions than I do, and they're going to be able to do stuff that I can't do anything about. So like if I play my whole hand out and I'm all set up for the next round and Aaron's got a lot of attacking cards, he can just hit and I can't do anything about it.
I know this is going to sound silly, but one of the things that I really do like about this game is, well, again, the theme doesn't really do it for me much because I never played this app. But the art is really cool, but it's also really colorful. It's super vibrant, and there's no borders on the cards. Everything just, like, pops right at you. Like,
very contrasty, saturated.
Yes. Shutter speed, zoom. Like most of Lucky Duck's games, I really, really enjoyed Mutants. This game, it is so unique because, again, when I say it's a deck builder, and technically that's correct, but by saying that word, if I were to just say it's a deck builder, it kind of paints like the wrong picture in your head, because I don't really think that there is any actual one word that perfectly like categorizes this game. Sure, it has deck building aspects in it, but it has like
arena battling,
you know, your King of the Hill tug of war kind of style.
Yeah.
And
right?
with most deck builders, I'm gonna compare Star Realms at some time. Like, Star Realms is the basics, and I'm gonna go from there. This, like, again, I almost have nothing comparable with it other than the fact that you have a deck of cards and then you add to that deck of cards. Everything else is just so different.
Yeah,
you call from it. But that's why they just called it the card game instead of the deck builder. So, like, I don't know. So if this game sounds interesting to you, you should click on either the card or the link in the description, whichever one tickles your fancy, you know.
Let us know, card versus link. Which one did you click on? Make sure you comment that below, because we discuss that every video.
Like, if you're not clicking on the card, why are we making a card? Come on.
Regardless, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.
Like, if you're not clicking on the card, why are we making a card? Come on.
That'll take you to the Kickstarter. Back this game.
You've never once made a card. Why are you even bringing that up? Tom's like, I show up for takes and then leave. You guys do the work.
But it's crazy how wrong that is. 90% of these videos you watch are edited by this guy.
90?
Sure, 86.
Just back the game.
It's a f***ing game.